Welcome and Happy New Year to everyone. My name is Dr. William Pizzuto. I'm the campus director across the street at Waterbury, UConn in Torrington. And what a great way to start 2016. I can't think of a better way to begin the new year. I want to thank everybody here for taking the time from your very busy schedules to be a part of this dedication and to realize how beautiful this building is. And so let me begin by giving a very brief history of the building. In 1847, St. John's, former Methodist Episcopal Church, was purchased by the Roman Catholics, and it became the first Roman Catholic church in Waterbury, and it was renamed to St. Peter's Church. The idea was to relocate this church onto an empty lot on East Main Street. However, with the uphill decline, the church didn't make it. It actually got stuck. They pushed it back into here, and here we sit today. The building eventually became known as St. Patrick's Hall, and even though it never served the function as a priest residence, St. Patrick's Hall became known as the Rectory building. And it was designed with the youth of not only the church, but the city in mind for halls, for lecture, and for study. The Rectory was designed by Joe Jackson, who incorporated the unique Richardsonian Romanesque style of architecture. The front of the building is covered with white Vermont granite trimmed with brown stone, and the brown stone continues throughout the design in the cornice moldings. The dormer roofs are of blue slate and terracotta cresting. In the late 1980s, the interior was gutted by a massive fire. The building remained vacant for well over 10 years, and the first floor was converted into site offices for the downtown renovation project. That ended in 2004 with the opening of not only UConn, but the Palace Theater next door. And from 2004 until this project began, the Rectory fell into further disrepair. Thanks to the mayor, Senator Joan Hartley, President Susan Herbst, chairman of our board, Larry McHugh, and the partnership between UConn and the city of Waterbury, funding was allocated for conversion of this structure into the state-of-the-art educational facility directly across the street from my wonderful campus. And this signifies our involvement, the universities, into the revival of downtown Waterbury. To this day, this architectural gem stands in downtown Waterbury as a new location for those seeking access to higher educational opportunities. Now that you have the history of this building, let me begin to introduce you to the people who made this beautiful renovation possible. So without further ado, it is my distinct pleasure and privilege to present to you the leader of our great city of Waterbury, an individual with true commitment and foresight, the Honorable Neil M. O'Leary.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Doctor. This is very exciting. As I look out in this crowd, I have so much emotion inside of me because this project took so long to get going, but as things do take time, the fruition of all that labor, all that hard work is here today. We're honored and pleased to have the president of the University of Connecticut with us here today, Ms. Susan Herbst. We're certainly delighted to have the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Larry McHugh, here with us today. We've got so many great people here. I guess I probably shouldn't go through the list because guaranteed I'll forget someone, and that always gets you into trouble. But I do want to point out our state representatives that are here. Dr. Pizzuto mentioned Senator Hartley, and she's going to speak. You know, this project has been one of her strongest successes, in my opinion. 10 years ago, when I sat on the board of directors at the Palace Theater next door, led by Mr. Jim Smith, who is sitting in front of us here today as the chairman, we'd had hours of discussions about what we were going to do with this building. Now, it looks quite a bit different today than it did 10 years ago, and certainly our stakeholders from the downtown Waterbury that are here today will tell you that it was not even possible, we thought, that we could even save this building. It was in such a state of horrible disarray and neglect. The city of Waterbury took control of it only to tear it down, quite frankly. But there was a group of great people that got together and said, you know, the historical value of this building to this city, and you just heard Dr. Pizzuto's presentation of what this building meant to this city. Just so many wonderful people got together and said, you know, let's find a way. And that's usually what happens here in Waterbury, you know, especially recently. The people who have come together to get involved, especially in this downtown revitalization effort, has been so remarkable and so rewarding to all of us who have worked so hard. We have, obviously, we have many of our stakeholders here in the downtown community with us. There are landlords here, business owners here, merchants here, who are really excited. You know, when we opened up the Palace Theater and Dr. Pizzuto's school across the street, we were all very, very excited back then because we felt as though we were finally connecting the dots and bringing downtown Waterbury back to what we all remember it once was. So many things happened over that 10-year period of time that we kind of got off track, right? We all got off track. I was the police chief, as frustrated as some of the downtown merchants and the stakeholders were, and so many things were happening, and unfortunately, by getting off track, all of our dreams went off track with them. 4 years ago, we talked about revitalizing downtown Waterbury, and we were given an opportunity to do just that. A governor who supported the city of Waterbury in unprecedented ways, certainly President Herbst and her commitment to downtown Waterbury with this great campus across the street and the ever-expanding curriculum and programs that are in place, the new partnership with the Waterbury Arts Magnet School and Waterbury UConn, where we have professors teaching high school children arts. I think those are the things that have excited people once again for the progress in downtown Waterbury, not to mention all of the commitment from our landlords who have sat on these empty buildings all these years and paid their taxes and said, please, please, someone help us. We can't do it much longer. Getting together with our downtown merchants, certainly Jim and Kathy Smith have led the march for downtown revitalization, and the Webster Foundation has done remarkable things 1 block north of here with housing and commitment to this downtown area. We're here. We're here. We're making progress. Thank you. Thank you. All of the efforts are finally coming to fruition. So here we are with the University of Connecticut, who is continually investing in downtown Waterbury. And I can't tell you enough how much Todd Montello, the Waterbury Development Corporation, Judy Keller, Andrew Martelli, that group alone has done incredible work to get this building to where it is today. And please recognize them for that. Of course, a special thanks to Governor Malloy, who left us today because President Obama wanted to see him this morning. I guess he had a pretty good excuse. Actually, I saw him yesterday at a press conference. He said, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. I said, that'll be great. Then he called later in the day and said, I'm on my way to Washington, so we won't be doing that tomorrow morning thing, but give my regards, of course, to President Herbst and Chair McHugh and everyone else that is here. The governor's commitment to downtown Waterbury, as you know, through the Waterbury Next initiative, has been just a remarkable accomplishment. And through Deputy Commissioner Tim Sullivan and Commissioner Catherine Smith of the Department of Community and Economic Development, those are the people, ladies and gentlemen, that are making things like this happen. I thank the citizens of Waterbury, and I thank our Board of Aldermen for approving the lease with the City of Waterbury and the University of Connecticut and the bond package that put this together. We have several aldermen here today, all Republican, I will point out. Stephanie Cummings is the veteran Republican alderman here. We have Roger Sherman here and Frank Guerrera. I wanted to call you Martinelli, and I knew that wasn't it, Frank. He's brand new, give me a break, it's only been a week. But what I'm really delighted about with these three is that since the election, they've been at every event. And that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the people that they represent. So thank you very much for being here. I'd like to offer a special thanks to Kathy Awad and the Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board. Kathy's group has made sure that the Good Jobs Ordinance is alive and well on this project. City residents worked very, very diligently on this project. We had apprenticeship programs and internship programs, and it was delightful to have our residents working so diligently on our project and giving them strong stakeholdership in our city. So thank you, Kathy, for your efforts. And your crew. I'd like to give a special thanks to our downtown merchants for their patience with all the sidewalk and road closures to get this project done. It was a long time. We know that, and we're very, very grateful to you for being very, very patient with us. I know that there were some trying times, and I promise we'll try to make it up to you over the years to come. But the truth of the matter is there's always got to be some pain involved in progress. And you experienced the pain. We now have the progress, and we hope that we'll make it worth your while now with this beautiful building here, and give you merchants especially an opportunity to do well with the student population that will be occupying this building. I want to thank Kurt Montagno Construction Company, especially Bill Parisi, and Joe Calabrese, the architect of this project, who came in and rescued us midway through. Wonderful work you've done here. Joe, special thanks for taking on it's hard to get an architect midway through a project, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And Joe came in. He's been a huge part of Waterbury. He actually designed the cross on the hill, and all that's work he's done on his own time. But for him to come in and bail us out here, it was a big commitment, and we do appreciate it. And a big Waterbury round of applause to Montagno and Joe Calabrese. We have a student amongst us here who also was recently crowned Miss Greater Waterbury. And her name is Alex Gianelli, and she's here with her mother, Paula. And Alex is a student right across the street at the good old Waterbury UConn campus downtown. Congratulations, Alex. I'd like to recognize our school superintendent, Dr. Kathleen Ouellette is here. Dr. Ouellette, thank you very much. We have a commissioner in the Department of Education who's been around as much as these aldermen that I pointed out just a few minutes ago at every event, and that's Commissioner Chuck Pagano. Thank you, Chuck, for being here. First, we have our police chief here, we have our fire chief here, and we have so many other folks here, and I can tell you this. So we have, with the huge commitments that I spoke of earlier, we've been inundated recently with private developers who are extraordinarily interested in investing in downtown Waterbury. And I know the reasons behind that is because they recognize the commitment of the city leadership and the stakeholdership of the merchants in downtown Waterbury, the landlords in downtown Waterbury, and they fully recognize that Waterbury is ready to move forward. And they're willing to put their money up in order to make it happen. And so many of them are here today. And the message I think that I'd like to see presented to them is that look around this room. There's a number of people here who have been here their entire lives and are so committed to the revitalization of Waterbury. They've kept their businesses here. They've kept their properties here, recognizing that we're just waiting, as Senator Murphy likes to say, we're on the launch pad, and we are. And I'm very, very delighted to be here with you today. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate all of your support, all of your recognition for all the good deeds that everyone in this room has done. And I really have to close out by saying how much it means to us, President Herbst, to have Director Bill Pizzuto running this UConn campus. He's born and raised here. Thank you. Well, first of all, isn't he a great guy? He's just a great guy. He's just an awesome guy. Born and raised here, educated here. came back here with his wife and family, never left, but started here with his new wife and family several years ago, right, Bill? Not too many. But anyways, you know, what he's done for this Waterbury campus is amazing. Students all know him. They love him. The faculty respects him and works hard for him. But the city knows his commitment. He was on the Board of Aldermen for a number of years. He gets it. He understands the challenges of municipal government. He's currently a police commissioner and has been for a number of years. But his wife and his commitment to this city is just amazing. And what he's done in attracting more and more students into the campus across the street has been amazing. The partnerships that have been developed, not only with the community, but as I mentioned, with the high school next door, the Waterbury Arts Magnet School, getting students to know, our students, our sometimes challenged urban students to know that they have an opportunity right across the street to further their education in ways that they have never really understood in the past. And Bill's made them understand that your dreams will become reality if you work hard. And no one works as hard as Bill Pizzuto. And I'm honored to be here with him today and the rest of you again. I'll finish up my remarks by once again thanking each and every one of you for all of your commitment. This is the launch pad. We are on it. We're sitting in it. We're standing in it. This is going to bring the beginning of the revitalization back into downtown Waterbury. We've seen so many projects over the last 4 years that have developed this process: housing initiatives, education initiatives, business initiatives. But this excitement about bringing more young people to come to school here in downtown Waterbury, and then hopefully will be living here in downtown Waterbury in the very near future, will be the revitalization of downtown. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Lowell, Massachusetts was revitalized by University of Massachusetts. Certainly Avery Point has been revitalized by the UConn campus there. Stanford campus, Stanford downtown, revitalized by their campus. We're following their lead. We're learning from their mistakes. And we're also have probably what they all wish everyone could have. We have the enthusiasm, the excitement, and the willingness to move forward. So thank you very much for being here. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. On behalf of the university and as a citizen of Waterbury, I thank the mayor for all that you do and continue to do for us. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. The next speaker is someone who's helped me since the day she began with the university. She's exceptionally intelligent, articulate, and leads by example. There's so few of us left. It's really, yeah, according to the mayor. Right? But she's led us by being one of the best universities in the entire country, and not only the country, but respected beyond the borders of the United States as an incredible Research One university. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished president, Dr. Susan Herbst.
In addition to all of Bill's great qualities, I didn't know you were an architectural maven. Yeah, I was very impressed with all that lingo earlier. It's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful day. I don't think there's any better way to kick off the new year than celebrating this latest example of the bonds between the University of Connecticut and the city of Waterbury, which I have come to love and believe in very deeply. This project in particular is a demonstration of UConn's identity, not only as an educational institution, but also having the meeting spaces here, the classroom spaces here. We want to be downtown Waterbury. We want to be central to it, part of it, and the life of this downtown as it develops further and further. It was so important to find the right place for this expansion. It wasn't simply a matter of finding a bunch of rooms, because there's a bunch of rooms around that we could certainly have invested in, but we wanted it to be a really special place, a beautiful place for student exchange, discovery, innovation, conversation, all the things that a great university has. And I would say that this building, this room, and the building across the street, they look as good, as sharp, and as welcoming as any university classrooms and meeting rooms in the country, and I have been all around. It's particularly exciting that one of the amenities available in our community here will be a brand new Starbucks, which is exactly the kind of place, a coffee house, that fosters connections, conversations that are really essential ingredients of a college experience. And those of you who had great college experiences know that so much of it is what you learn in the classroom, then what you learn from each other and from the faculty outside of the classroom. So we could not be happier that when we found this location here, this building worked for us, that Starbucks was a willing partner in this. A lot of great people worked to make this possible, and the mayor has named so many of them. Certainly the governor was critical in this, along with the Board of Aldermen and the Waterbury Development Corporation. Also, so grateful, not just for this, but so much else, at least in my nearly 5 years here, thankful to Senator Hartley, who's going to speak in a moment, but her leadership over the years in the Assembly and on this project was absolutely instrumental. Thank you, Senator, over and over again, one of the first people I met and one of the best people I met in the state. Very pleased, too, to have Representative Jeff Berger here. He's a longtime UConn supporter, and we really appreciate his help. Thanks also to Representative Victor Suervos. Did I say it right? Cuevas, for coming here for all his support of UConn. He's been vital to this. On the UConn side, Larry McHugh was mentioned. He's the chairman of our board of trustees, and he has a full-time job, as a lot of you know, as a longtime president of the Middletown Chamber, but he also has another practically full-time job as my boss, as chairman of our board, and one of the most courageous, insightful trustees that I have met in my time in higher education. He's been involved in this as he is in everything we do, pretty much backing us up, supporting us, and advocating for the university as such a vital part of the blossoming of Connecticut. So thanks once again to Bill, to Jim Smith and Kathy, all the great people here who have helped us, supported me personally. I love Waterbury. I think it's going places, and it's a fabulous way for UConn to invest in this state. So Bill, I think I turn it back to you, architectural leader that you are, and thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it.
President Herbst, thank you for believing in us and committing your time and energy and the resources towards our continued success. And we could never do this without her help. Our next speaker is an incredible state senator, one who has demonstrated continued commitment to the city of Waterbury and UConn in particular. I respect her hard work, her dedication, and tenacity, and someone I would want to be next to in a foxhole. I mean that. I can't thank her enough, the incredible Joan Hartley, please.
Thanks so much, Dr. Bizzuto. Today is just such an incredible day for this city and all of my colleagues. And I, first of all, want to start out by saying an incredible thank you to, of course, President Herbst, whose leadership of this flagship university has been so inspirational to us on a state level, but also to us here locally. To Mayor O'Leary, who helped us connect the dots when the water got really tough, and as Mike O'Connor will attest to, we were going under. And of course, to the leadership of Larry McHugh, who has, on a statewide level, on so many aspects, brought us through tough waters and helped us to be distinguished the way this state is in our higher education in so many ways. I'm so blessed to be part of a delegation from this city that is not just in my mind, but I think on a statewide basis, second to none, and that is with Representative Berger, who is the chairman of the Finance Committee, my colleague on the Appropriations Committee, Representative Cuevas, and the rest of our delegation who work day in and day out in unison. So let me just say, 1941, the University of Connecticut opened its doors here on the Hill in Hillside, the historic district. It became the realization of dreams, a field of dreams for families for generations. Change is hard, and so when our enrollments were down, and sitting on the appropriations committee, I found it hard every single year to sustain the Waterbury. There was a time, the Waterbury branch, because our enrollments were down and were flat, and we're thinking, how are we going to continue to float this boat? And then in 2000, the Board of Trustees voted to bring this university to the core city, to do, as Mayor O'Leary said, what other cities had done, to make this flagship university part of the core of our city. And isn't that what Yankee ingenuity is all about? It's about the brains. And in the 21st century, it's not about the brawn, it's about the technology and our intellectual powers, which we have distinguished ourselves in this state for years. And so in 2003, 2004, we opened the doors, and yet another generation of UConn students came in. And I have to share with you, probably one of my first legislative proposals was with Representative Beeman to offer 4-year programs here at the University of Connecticut. And I was rapidly chastised by then, I think it was President Castine or President Hartley. I used to call him my cousin, but not so. When I needed something, it was like cuz. Anyway, and so at that time, I was told we do not legislate academic programs. However, we kept putting the bill in, and soon we were offering 4-year programs here at the university. And then as we partnered with the business community, with Webster, Republican American, other business entities here, who began then to invest, as they always do, in their employees, and we started MBA programs here. And we offer today MBA programs. We offer, it was a MIMES program, but now you're telling me it's an acronym, for a master's in nursing. We are now offering extensive engineering, big data programs. We have grown the academic choices exponentially. And so we also have expanded, because now we are not just for those students and non-traditional students who probably would come here anyway. We are now the host to large numbers of students from the yeshiva, the new population that's come into the city, the Albanian community. It has become the field of dreams for many students, families who perhaps otherwise wouldn't have these opportunities. And the Waterbury UConn campus has distinguished itself in so many ways. So now, as President Herbst says, we start 2016 to cut this ribbon, to spill this university out to the other side of the street as the gateway to the east side of this city, none better than the flagship of the University of Connecticut. I can't tell you how proud I am of this day and how grateful I am to all of our partners. I can remember the days, Billy, when we would stand in that window across the street and look over and say, what if you could get into the Rectory building? What would you do? How could we see this? And so we're here today. And the next time we are going to be here, as President Herbst recognized, is when we open the doors to a purveyor of fine coffees. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to propose that we launch our own brand of Husky hot chocolate.
Senator Harley, thank you so much for striving to make us the best UConn campus possible. We're blessed to have your energy and support, and I mean that. And to give us a prayer of dedication and blessing today is Father Christopher Ford. Father Ford was ordained as a priest in 1987, and most recently, Archbishop Blair appointed Father Ford as the rector of the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception and Episcopal Vicar for the Waterbury Vicariate on July 1st, 2015. Please welcome Father Ford. Thank you.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. I don't share a history with you, but hopefully a future. It's just been 6 months since I arrived, and I know this was referred to as the Rectory, and so I I did a little homework myself, and Doctor, you did a very good job. It's mostly accurate. But yes, this, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's entirely accurate. But it was never a rectory. Priests never lived here. They actually lived across the street. But this was developed by St. Peter's Parish. The Immaculate Conception Church Parish was originally dedicated under the patronage of St. Peter. And then when the Immaculate Conception doctrine was defined by Pius IX in 1854, they changed the name. So it was across the street, the church was, and the rectory. And this was a hall, a meeting hall. We would call it today a parish center. It was where people in the parish gathered to share life and faith. And there was educational opportunities here, as well as, through the years, many, many opportunities for fellowship. And then, of course, in the late 20s, we moved on up to the Green. And I assumed it was about then that the building was sold, but I'm sure it was I'm sure we left it in very good condition in 1920-something. But, so I'm delighted. Well, first I thought I might want it back, but it's so nice. But we got plenty of space where we are. But I'm delighted that it's really being returned for the first time since the 1920s to its original purpose as a meeting place, and as a meeting place for young people, as a place where education takes place, and where fellowship will take place down at Starbucks, and where young people will connect and share ideas and dreams, just like it was so many years ago. So we certainly invoke God's blessing upon this place, and especially upon all the people, the young people who will gather here, that He will bless them and bless everything that happens here, and especially in regards to the education that will take place here, that they will have the opportunity here in this place, once again, to identify and to develop their God-given gifts and talents for their own good and for their own fulfillment, as well as for sharing with their families in the future, and, of course, with the community, all for the common good, that they will experience, they will be enriched by what happens here, and that they will enjoy themselves here and share fellowship here, just like they did so many years ago. And we make this prayer in God's name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father. If you'd indulge me just for less than 3 minutes, I just wanted to let everyone know that buildings like this don't happen by mistake. They take a lot of dedication and hard work by so many folks. And I know it's very difficult to recognize individuals without unintentionally omitting someone. But I needed to at least take the next couple of minutes to do that. First one, most of all, my wife, who had nothing to do with the building, but everything to do with me. My wife, Michelle Pizzuto. Thank you for putting up for me, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah. The Waterbury Development Corps, Todd Montello, Andrew Martelli, Judith Keller. I think you had it on speed dial. You're going to claim me on your W-2 forms, I think. The Waterbury Board of Aldermen, UConn Board Trustee Larry McHugh again, President Herbst. Our UConn Associated Student Government and all the students who continually help us in every way. Matt Larson, Ellie Strasfeld, Dennis Pierce, head of UConn Dining Services, who will be our key person with Starbucks. Robert Corbett, our UConn Project Director. Victor Schiavi and his team of IT and media people. Angela Brightly and Eileen LeMay and Dolores Rogauskas, Sue Kinley and Tracy Borden. For all of the furniture, fixture, and equipment, Angela, with your administration, I could never get this done without it. Our facilities and personnel, police, Gail Garber, our legislative liaison, Bill Parisi, the project construction manager for Montagno, Joe Gary, the mayor's chief of staff, Jim Nemick, and Dave Simpson, and most of all, the Starbucks officials, Phil Potenza, and the Starbucks representatives that are in the audience. I just have to conclude by saying I thank you all for everything you do and continue to do to support us. Please stay and enjoy the luncheon. And if you can, go on the tours that WDC will provide. The floors below us are the classrooms. It's well worth your time. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Jen. We got to cut the ribbon. Oh, geez, yeah. Hang on, we got to cut the ribbon here. We forgot the most important thing. We got to get there. Get up there. Come on, the mayor. Susan, yeah. Susan, we need you to. Geez, I forgot all about it.
Okay, let's go. John, I want you and the president. All right? That'd be wonderful.
Incredible.
All right, we'll wait a minute and get everybody settled. All right,
The bossy guy from UConn.
everybody,
Are y'all looking right here now?
we're all looking right there. And so we'll go on a count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
Watch out with these.
We're taking these away right now.